What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Birds of the Roundtable. Eagles preseason talk continues. We are reacting to Eagles versus Bengals. Looking ahead to Eagles versus Browns this Saturday night. Joining us, David at PHL Eagle News. What's going on, David?
What's up, man? Looking forward to breaking down a game finally.
Absolutely. Also joining us, Shane Half, NFL on X. What's up, Shane?
Did somebody say real football? I mean, like, kind of real football, but it felt good. Feels good to break down some film and be back to it.
We're back. Also,
we are so back.
Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. What's good, Ryan?
Not much. Just I'm happy. What else can I say? My life is back to being happy.
All right. Tonight we are talking Birds, but after that we are breaking down our top 16 linebackers heading into the 2025 regular season. Guys, if you're watching us live, please like and subscribe, but also comment, chat with us. Go Birds, as always. Let's jump right into this thing. Winners and losers, Eagles versus Bengals. I'll throw it to you, David, first. Lead us off, man.
Winners,
Sure.
definitely
winners and guys who struggled just a little bit.
Right, thank you. The biggest winner to me were the two wide receivers, Darius Cooper and Johnny Wilson. I mean, they both showed off. Cooper just keeps stacking big moments with his poise and confidence. He had 6 catches for 82 yards, I think, and the touchdown. He was one of the more, impressive performers of the night. And Johnny Wilson finally used his 6'6" height and mossed somebody, took the ball right from him. I love that moment. Caught all 3 targets for 73 yards. And I think they had the biggest night. And I think to a lesser degree, Aeneas Smith probably helped himself out, and he might have made Avery expendable on that roster.
Yeah, Darius Cooper was also one of my top winners. The way he got his yards was so damn impressive. His releases, his route running, his ability to snatch the ball out of the air, top to bottom. He has to be arguably the biggest winner as a guy that has shown up at camp and delivered and actually put it into preseason game performance. So we heard about it during camp, but I've never seen him coming out of a small school. And now, he's now making big time conversations about whether or not the Eagles keep 6 wide receivers going forward. Will he make it to the practice squad? These are great conversations. These are great problems to have for the Eagles. Fun conversations, but we'll see. Ryan, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, you guys obviously just nailed some of the big ones. I will say on the kind of the flip side of the players who did themselves no favors, that has to be, both corners vying for CB2. Didn't make anybody in the Philadelphia area feel any better about what's going on opposite of Q. And maybe Bennett really does have the open door, the green light to go ahead and take that position should he want it. So that's kind of my anti-take from those who did not do themselves any favors.
I mean, you could argue that Bennett was one of the biggest winners as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Shane?
AJ Dillon is my big winner.
Yeah,
I thought AJ Dillon looked healthy. I thought he looked, for a guy his size, at least fleet on his feet. And he also was used in the passing game. So 5 carries for 27 yards. He had 3 catches for 27 yards. I think based on what we saw in that game, there is no doubt he should be the running back 2 for the Eagles going into the season. I wasn't very impressed with Will Shipley, the long run aside, but I wasn't really that impressed with Shipley, but I was really impressed with AJ Dillon. So I left the game feeling a lot better about running back 2. And then I also have a big loser from this game. And this is one that I think David will even agree with and say is a loser. He can let me know afterwards, but it's the Green Bay Packers whine all season about the tush push. And how does the Eagles' first touchdown of the preseason come? It's got to be the tush push. So big shout out to the loser Green Bay Packers for trying, failing, but raising awareness about the tush push. So, David,
Yeah.
do you agree? Would you call them a loser?
Yeah, 100% co-sign on that.
We did it. We did it, boys.
David finally said something negative.
And if I can mention one other guy who struggled a little bit, I think Kyle McCord may have caused himself to end up on the practice squad. I mean, he hasn't popped in camp. He was 1 for 5 with the pick. You can chalk it up as experience. The box score isn't going to impress anybody. The reps might matter, but DTR, I think all of us to some degree were really excited about him during the draft process and the thoughts that he could be an Eagle with a late round pick when he came out in the draft. And the fact that he's here, he's mobile. He looked like he controlled the offense. He had good tempo. And I thought that he looked, outstandingly better than McCord did. And also a little shout out to Drew Kendall, who he played really well manning center. I mean, the offense moved smoothly with him in there. And I was very impressed with the way he conducted himself and, the way the offense moved with him running that, because that's not an easy thing to do. So that was pretty impressive.
I'd like to throw it out there. I also was impressed with the interior defensive line. That was a bit of a concern heading into this offseason, especially they didn't really address that at the top of the draft like a lot of us expected with Derek Harmon and such. But guys like Ty Robinson getting a sack, I thought he looked pretty solid against the run. And Gabe Hall, I mean, he's got to be a guy that's right up there with Darius Cooper as maybe has locked himself in for this 53-man roster. I think both are athletic. Both are looking like they're going to be major pieces of this rotation. So for me, Gabe Hall, Ty Robinson, I came into this offseason as a little bit questionable about the youth on the defensive line. Yes, it's one preseason game, but I'm excited to see what that looks like against the Browns. Any other winners and losers from the Bengals game?
Yeah, I'll add a few to the players who struggled a little bit. Miles Hinton and Holland Pierce. Again, didn't do so great. So,
and if I could add to what Dodds was saying about the interior defensive line, I mean, they must have been showing this all through camp as well, because to trade Thomas Booker the way they did from a position of depth to add to a clearly what they perceive as a position of weakness to bring in Bennett kind of showed you their thoughts on the situation as well.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody have any other winners and losers?
Patrick Johnson with the best hands on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. How many dropped interceptions were there? Wild. What's going on, Little G? Thanks for joining. What's going on, Jack? What's going on, Pat? Thanks, everyone, for joining. Any other losers? Smile Munden really struggled with tackling.
Yeah,
I would love to hear Shane's thoughts on Sidney Brown.
Yeah, he's just never going to survive a season. You can't play that. Like I was watching my son hadn't gone to bed. We let him watch the first half of the game, and then they were like kind of upset about going to bed. I was like, trust me, there's not going to be much worth watching in the second half. It'll be fine. I'll let you watch it tomorrow if you want to. And of course they didn't want to, but he saw the Sidney Brown hit and he was like, wow. And I was like, that's such a bad hit. Like, he's never going to survive a season that way. And it was like 2 seconds later, the camera cuts to him holding his shoulder. And it's just like, it's just not tenable. He's got to stop playing so recklessly. And you can't, like, I want to see him fly downhill. I just need to see him play smarter at the point of contact. And that hasn't happened yet. And it's going to be a struggle for him to stay on the field until it does.
Yep. We got our first taste of Jahad Campbell. Anybody have quick thoughts on Campbell and the roughly 10 or so snaps he got against the Bengals?
I noticed almost nothing in a good or a bad way. Like, I almost didn't notice him. So, which I talked about on the post-game show. It's a little hard. I'm still learning numbers and guys are swapping in and out. So I wasn't like locked in on him, but even going back to watch the film, I I don't think I tweeted any clips of him when I was going through the all 22. He was there and he didn't really pop to me in a good or a bad way, which is probably fine for a rookie.
It's funny you mentioned numbers. When Ryan and I were at camp, we had 10 people walk by us and we had no idea who they were because the numbers, we couldn't even recognize them anymore. I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
Couldn't even speak to anybody.
Literally 2 feet away from us. We were like quickly like, oh, that's that guy. I'm like, who? Oh, I don't even know who that guy is.
Yeah.
I was impressed with Jahad Campbell in the open practice tossing Juergens like a rag doll. If y'all seen that clip, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was wild. All right, let's head into week 2 against the Browns. What's everybody watching real quick? For me, it's got to be Drew Makuba. I think he's got to be the main, course heading against the Browns, because with everything we saw with the secondary and the struggles against Joe Burrow, for what it's worth. But that safety position is definitely a concern. We've been hearing Drew Makuba's back practicing with the ones. So for me, I'm watching Drew Makuba every single snap this Saturday. Anybody else want to add to what they're wanting to see against the Browns?
Yeah, I think that's definitely high up on the list. Again, more, we just talked about more Campbell out there. Again, I kind of thought, just, again, looking back, that, as Shane kind of said, not really positive, not really negative. I'd say a little bit more of a positive than a negative, but I want to see a little bit more out there from him. I also want to see a little bit better offensive line play. We know what we got in the front, the first 5 guys. I want to see a lot more from the depth on the offensive line, because a lot of them struggled.
Yep. Anybody else?
Hopefully,
Eli Ricks.
Yeah. I was going to say, hopefully Tanner McKee, because I'm not sure I can do a full game of DTR and Kyle McCord.
We didn't even talk about Tanner McKee.
Yeah. But I guess you're watching.
Ryan's so negative tonight. Jesus.
I guess you're watching Matt Pryor, Trevor Keegan, because there's the potential one of those guys is going to be playing left guard for you for a few weeks into the regular season. I know. Yeah, I know they're saying that Dickerson's eyeing like the week 1, the opener return, but you never know. So I'll be keeping an eye on the interior O-line depth and kind of what's going on there. And then, of course, you're going to be excited to see what Jacorian Bennett has. I watched a couple of games of his last year for Patreon, and I was generally impressed. He's a terrible tackler, but he was pretty good in coverage on Jamar. And I'm not out on Ringo. Jamar is a tough draw, and I mean, the Eagles were doing some funky stuff on defense they're not going to do. So I am, however, pretty much all the way out on Adoree Jackson. Wow. Keely Ringo or Jacorian Bennett really needs to step up.
Yeah, I agree with most of that. I think Eli Ricks might actually take Adoree's spot on the 53-man roster. I mean, I think he's coming for it. He's looked a lot better in camp than Adoree did, in my opinion. So I'd be a little surprised at this point if he doesn't end up taking that spot. But yeah, Bennett is the guy to watch. And I think Toth started with the ones today, taking Landon's spot at guard. That doesn't mean much. They could be moving people around. Yeah. And to Shane's point about Ringo, I mean, like Fangio said, they're never going to do zero coverage against Jamar Chase in a game. That's never happening. I mean, the worst part about that play was that he just didn't hang back and make the tackle. Yeah. I mean, he didn't have to run past him like that. But I'm not out on Ringo either. It's one play, and how many people has Jamar Chase made look silly? Quite a few.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk real quick about Landon Dickerson, who might be back for week 1. And what's everyone's option B if Landon Dickerson's unable to go week 1? How do you move around the offensive line? What would be kind of your go-to, Shane?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not moving around the offensive line. I'm pretty much just putting in a new left guard. Like, I'm probably leaving Tyler Steen at right guard, and between Toth and Keegan and Pryor, whoever they feel most comfortable with, I'll put him at left guard and try to make do for a couple of weeks or till whenever he gets back. And if you don't feel good about that for some reason, then maybe you look to free agency or a trade somewhere, or you look to waivers when you get there. But I think the Eagles, they pretty consistently invest into the trenches. And I mean, I think you feel fine as long as you don't have any more injuries on the O-line. Like, as long as you've got 2 really good tackles and a good center, you can sort of survive some stuff with your guards, at least in my opinion. So I'm not freaking out, but it would be nice to see one of those guys step up and play well.
Yeah, my initial vibe was move Tyler Steen to left guard and then Matt Pryor right guard. Anybody else have any thoughts?
I mean, I certainly heard that was certainly something that they're going to look into, but I just kind of look back to when Juergens went down, and then we had to move Lane and just I'm sorry, we moved Landon into center, and then we had to get somebody to play left guard. Like, it was just too many moving parts. I'd rather just have to change one position, update one position rather than 2. So if that's the case, if we have a guy that we feel confident enough to man the fort for a game or 2, fine. If there's somebody out there on free agency, I don't know, Brandon Sheriff. I mean, I don't know if he has anything in the tank, but I know he's a notable name guard out there in free agency. But I personally think they'll figure out the guy, put him in left, keep Steen it right.
All right. Let's go to linebacker rankings. Our top 16 linebackers for the 2025 season. Ryan leads off.
Oh, wow. You really caught me off guard here. Okay. I thought you would be sleeping by now. My number 16, I think, is Leo Chenal. Right? Yeah. Leo Chenal from Kansas City. I really enjoyed him kind of coming out of college, and him and Nick Bolton, who we'll be talking about shortly enough, have kind of made a nice duo there in Kansas City, and they're young, and I just think they feed off each other really well. I just kind of had to have them on my list. So.
All right. That is number 16. Let's roll on to David's number 16, which is Patrick Queen.
Yeah, he went to Pittsburgh and showed the same freakish athleticism. His speed was a weapon, 129 tackles again last year, no sign of slowing down. He's been a pillar of consistency. I just have him down there because I don't know that, he's as good as everybody else I have above him, quite frankly. He's just one of those guys, second tier kind of guy to me in the rankings.
All right. Shane, who is your number 16?
My number 16 is Levante David. He's like ancient. I say that. He's the same age I am. He's 35 years old.
So old.
But in football years, that's like 75, right? But he's been really consistent in Tampa for a long time. His coverage abilities, I think, have fallen off over the last couple of years because he used to be like an elite coverage guy, and he's not that anymore. But he's still really consistent in the box. He's consistent in the run game, and so he was number 16 for me.
All right, let's roll on to number 15, and that's TJ Edwards for David.
Yeah, quietly became one of the more steadier tacklers in the league. They lean on him. Chicago leans on him. 129 tackles, over 100, fourth year in a row. The Eagles probably should have held on to the guy. He's been a pretty good player.
Yep. Made Ryan's rankings of, is that undrafted? Correct?
Yeah.
Top 5 undrafted selections from, or pickups from Howie Roseman. Heading to number 15 for Ryan, Blake Cashman.
Yeah, Blake Cashman is certainly, really impressed, over the last couple of seasons, and just more or less just the upward trajectory, for him. I think he's 28 or 29 years old. I can't remember off the top of my head. He last year he he only had 4.5 sacks. I believe he was injured a little bit, but I don't know. I just again, a lot of this is mostly based on just kind of my eye test, and I think he passes it for sure of somebody that's kind of under the radar that deserves a little bit more credit. So.
All right, number 15, heading to the Saints. It is Demario Davis for Shane.
Yeah, I'm on an old guy kick here. Demario Davis, 36 years old, but he's been a solid linebacker for so long in New Orleans. Super physical. He's an instinctual player, and I really don't feel like I think he can keep up with running backs and things still. And so he's just kind of defying father time for now. We'll see how long he can hang on there in New Orleans, and wanted to give him some love because he's done it for so long. I think he's a really good player.
And then number 14, Quincy Williams from the Jets, David.
Yeah, he plays fast and fearless. His closing speed erases mistakes, but it also creates some. That gamble is part of what makes him so dangerous. He's been healthy 4 years in a row. Another guy over 100 tackles. Just a solid player.
And the Eagles' number one enemy, Frankie Louvu at 14 for Ryan.
Yeah, I'm loving the fact that I have to talk about Frankie Louvu. Mr. I hate the tush push, but had a really good season in Washington. His first year in Washington, really kind of shined in Carolina. His last 2 years at Carolina. But he was a solid performer for the Commanders. 8 sacks, almost 100 tackles. After the 2 previous years, getting over 111 tackles in each year. So, I think as much as he's a pain in the ass, and I've always at least enjoyed him as a player. Just now, not on the Commanders.
All right, let's stick with you, Ryan. Who's your number 11?
Oh Jesus, I have no idea.
It is Nick Bolton of the Chiefs.
There you go, Nick Bolton, the other Kansas City Chief. Listen, I like Nick Bolton coming out, and again, it stinks that he's on such a awful team like Kansas City, but he's he's a great player. He seems to be always around the ball. He's still very young. He's 25 years old. Doesn't get a crazy amount of sacks, but seems to always be around the ball and just right place, right time. Obviously, we saw that in the Super Bowl 3 years ago. So, Nick Bolton, definitely one of the top linebackers in the league.
And then Shane, we all have the same, well, you guys all have the same guy at number 9. Who's that?
Yeah. Do you want to take a crack at his last name?
No.
Okay. We've got Bobby Okereke, linebacker for the Giants. He's a guy that I wanted the Eagles to sign a couple of years ago when he went to New York. Thought he was a good player then. He's been in a bad situation, but I still think he's a good player. Always up there in tackles, just a solid all-around guy that can do a little bit of everything. So Bobby Okereke is my number 9 linebacker, and it's always funny when we all end up with a guy in the exact same spot. But
right, yeah. And
actually, David and I have the exact same 9 through 14, which is kind of wild.
What?
Yeah, and look at that number 8.
Actually, our number 8s are the same too.
Number 8s are all the same. David, it is Dre Greenlaw of the Denver Broncos.
Yeah, he's a very explosive hitter when healthy. Last year, obviously, was a lost season. Now in Denver, he's going to be asked to inject that same edge that he carries himself with into a defense trying to find its identity. So it'll be interesting to see how he does, but definitely one of the more talented linebackers when healthy.
I'm interested to see how he does not playing next to Fred Warner, because I think he's a good player, but he's got to play without Fred Warner there. And that's something with Frankie Louvu too. Like Frankie Louvu really benefits from playing next to Bobby Wagner. Like he's a really good blitzer, but he reaps benefits of playing next to Wagner. Greenlaw was hurt last year, but I'm interested to see what we see from him this year without playing next to Warner.
Yeah. All right, rolling to number 7. It is Jack Campbell for Ryan.
Jack Campbell, has really kind of shined these last couple of years, since being drafted. Um, you just kind of, just look at, what he's done so far, and what he's 24, 25, 24. I don't know. Either way, he's super young, and in his 2 years, has just been getting exponentially better game by game. I think he finished with over 130 tackles last year. Um, uh, got a couple of sacks, a couple fumble recoveries. So, um, I just, I liked him coming out of Iowa. Certainly thought he got drafted a little bit higher than he probably should have, but he's certainly making the Lions look smart for getting him.
Rolling on to number 7 for David, a guy that everybody has within their top 7, Bobby Wagner of the Commanders. David.
Yeah, the future Hall of Famer isn't on here just for his reputation. Even at that age, he's still producing. Washington's defense got a, instant leader, one of the more reliable tacklers in the game. He's a pillar of health. I mean, I don't know if the guy's missed any time in any season. 132 tackles last year, but the year before 183. His production is just absolutely insane. I have him a little lower than everybody else because I just think Father Time catches up with everybody eventually. But my goodness, he has not shown any signs of that so far.
Even though Saquon absolutely destroyed the Commanders. I'm just saying.
Hey, it happens.
Speed.
All right, rolling on to number 6 for Shane, Edgerrin Cooper.
Yeah, Edgerrin Cooper, a lot of us liked him last year in the draft, and he had a good rookie season. He was good as a pass rusher, which I think we knew he would be good as a pass rusher, but surprisingly, he was pretty solid in coverage. And I don't know that I didn't expect that, at least. I won't speak for everybody, but he was good in run D, all around just a good player. I think he dealt with like some hamstring issues as a rookie, so didn't end up with the highest snap count, but I'm really excited to see what he can do in year 2.
Yeah, a little more seasoning. He's going to be a good one for sure.
Yeah.
Shane, keep sticking with you. Number 5, that is Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, Devin Lloyd and Jack Campbell falls into this a little bit as well. Both of these guys were bad as rookies, at least initially. Lloyd was just bad as a rookie. I think Jack Campbell figured it out some down the stretch his rookie season, but both of these guys, 2 or 3 years into their career are high up on these lists. And Lloyd's he's a good athlete. He's good in the run game. He's really come a long way since, that rookie season where I thought he was good in the draft, and I watched him play as a rookie, and I was like, man, I just missed it on him. And turns out I was right before I bailed out on my original thought, and then I became wrong. So Lloyd's top 5 linebacker in the league for me.
So, David, it is number 3, Roquan Smith of the Ravens.
Yeah, to continue what Shane was saying, I think year 3 seems to be the breakout year for linebackers in general. It just seems like that's just when the game just starts coming to them. But I have Smith here. He's the heartbeat of their defense. He plays, with the Fury, keeps racking up triple-digit tackles. I think he's in year 8, and he's just been a perfect fit there, back-to-back 150 tackle seasons. And he can add a little pass rushing juice when you call upon it. Not too frequently, but he gets a couple sacks a year.
Yep. And then we get to number 2 for Ryan, Zach Bond.
Yeah, Mr. Zach Bond. I had him this year, this high, just because, I don't know if I've ever seen a linebacker just kind of fit into a place, into a system as well as Zach Bond does with the Philadelphia Eagles. Spent 4 years in New Orleans, all over the place, mostly on special teams, and not really getting an ability to crack into the starting lineup. But, comes here, has 150 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, interception, a clutch interception in the Super Bowl. And becomes an all-pro. And just, I'm very glad that we have him here.
And then number 1, it is Fred Warner. Shane?
Fred Warner is awesome. I hate that he plays for the 49ers, but he's an absolute joy to watch play football. The rep that will, I should have pulled this clip, but the rep that will always live in my head for Fred Warner is him lining up in an A gap between the center and the right guard on a simulated pressure, and then bailing out of that A gap and carrying a slot receiver vertically, just on a vertical route, splitting the safeties. Just unbelievable athleticism, unbelievable intelligence. Channels some Luke Kuechly a little bit, and that's one of the first guys I just remember loving to watch diagnose the game. Fred Warner is a special player.
All right, I'm going to throw this question to everyone. 2 questions, leading off with Ryan. First question, final thoughts on the linebacker group. Number 2, 12 months from now, 0 to 10, 0 meaning 0 chance, 10 meaning a lock. What are the chances Jahad Campbell was in this list?
Final thoughts on the linebacker group. I love linebackers. That's all I have to say. That's all I need to say. Man, I mean, listen, I think it could be a 5. I mean, think about it. You have Edgerrin Cooper that's cracked this list after 1 season, right? You have Jack Campbell, who's been here for 2, and again, it's there's also a lot of aging veterans, especially on Shane's list, and that will need to come off this list. And what better way than the future of the linebacking position than Jahad Campbell?
Shane, final thoughts. Does Jahad Campbell make this list in 12 months?
I put it at like a 2. I think he's still pretty raw in a lot of things, and I think that the Eagles are going to try to figure out how best to utilize him. But I think I'm really excited about the player, and I think that he's got a bright future. But I talked about with Campbell and Lloyd that they didn't look very good their rookie season. Cooper did. Edgerrin Cooper definitely did, and I think that's the anomaly, though. I wouldn't be surprised to see Campbell struggle early and figure it out in year 2 and 3. Or down the stretch. But I mean, 4 or 5 weeks of play at the end of the season is probably not going to get you on my list next year. So I've got a low feeling about that. Yeah, Ryan will have him on the list no matter what. He can play 12 snaps.
Let's go.
Final thoughts, David?
With the linebacker group in general, I think our list just kind of goes to show it's not just about big hits anymore. These linebackers have instincts, range, coverage ability. They're kind of like part safety, part pass rusher. It's just the position has completely evolved. As far as Jahad Campbell, I think we saw how Luvu jumped up on this list, working beside an established linebacker like Wagner. I think Bond will bring him along, very similarly. We just saw, like Shane or Ryan mentioned, Edge Cooper just made the list after 1 season. I'll go 5 or 6. I can't say it's a lock, but I do think it's a very good chance that, he's going to get a lot of playing time. He's not going to be fighting for snaps that often, though I do think Trotter will take some of them, but I think Campbell will probably end up with way more than him by season's end.
I do have like a vibe that like Jahad Campbell will arrive during the playoffs at some point, like have a game where he's just a game wrecker, 2 sacks, and another big play.
So what you're saying here is that Shane is a hater. Kind of what I gathered.
How many snaps will he get, Shane? Just so we can have this on record like Cooper DeJean last year.
How many snaps will he get?
Yeah, that episode will go mysteriously.
Yeah. I'll deep 6 that episode. He'll get over. I think he'll get 500 plus snaps. Okay. I think he's going to be the starter. There's the Nakobe Dean of it all. If Dean comes back and plays well, he was doing so well last year. I just don't have a lot of faith in that. And I do think you can trust Trotter Jr. on the field. There's size limitations, but he's going to be where he's supposed to be. And so I feel good about the Eagles linebacker group as a whole. Like, even if Dean doesn't come back and Campbell really struggles, I do have a lot of confidence in Trotter to just be a replacement level player too. So long gone are the days of Nate Gary and all those other goobers that I can't even, Alex Singleton.
When was the last time before a season, because we certainly didn't think that last year, because we didn't know what we're getting with Zach Bond, and we had doubts on Dean. When was the last time you think any one of us thought, I'm pretty good on them damn linebackers? It's a great
2000, 2001, Trotter and Carlos Emmons.
Carlos Emmons, yeah, probably.
It was more recent than that for me, but it was probably like 2017, 2018 when they had Jordan Hicks still. I think they re-signed Jordan Hicks, but then he got hurt. And
he did every year.
Yeah. But until he left Philly, and then he was the epitome of health the rest of his career. But
naturally.
Yeah, that's what it was. In 2017, he played 7 games. 2018, he played 12 games. And then he left and had 4 straight seasons where he never missed a game.
Yep.
But I felt really good about Hicks and Bradham back in like 2016, 17.
Was Bradham the Cabana boy guy? Was that same?
Yeah. I sure didn't.
All right, there it is. That is the top 16 linebackers in the NFL. To catch up on all of the preseason position rankings, check out the description below. They're all listed there with the link. Let's wrap up shop. David, final thoughts, Eagles versus Browns, plugs, time's yours.
Yeah, I'd pay attention more to the practices probably than the game at 1 o'clock on Saturday. I think those are going to be very, very competitive practices. I think Schwartz is going to screw around with Jalen Hurts quite a bit and show a little bit more than the average defensive coordinator.
All right. Ryan, final thoughts?
Yeah, it'll be nice getting down to the stadium on Saturday, taking my son as I usually do for his birthday.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be first time being down there since we annihilated the Washington Commanders with a 55 burger. Yeah, it'll be nice.
Shane.
Yeah, and it's good for football to be back. Johnny and I recorded a film review today. It's the first time we've got to do one of those since we went back and did a watch along for every snap of the Super Bowl. So that is in the podcast feed right now. You guys can go check that out. And we'll have lots of other great content coming your way on the Eagles Pinpool Network. So make sure you guys are subscribed wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe on a couple platforms. That helps us out too. Ratings and reviews always help, but we really appreciate you guys following along with us.
Oh, yeah.
Shameless plug. Ryan and I started Armchair Scouts last night. We talked 9 prospects all Eagles fans should know. Go check that out. And next week, we'll be doing our first Eagles mock and talking more Eagles draft prospects. So that will be a weekly show talking every single week of college football and top Eagles prospects. Guys, thank you, everyone, for watching. Thank you, everyone, for commenting. One last time, David at PHL Eagle News, Shane at Shane Heff NFL. He is Ryan Reese at Philly Sports PSA. We'll see you next Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Go Birds.